What's up, people? I'm Erica.
And I'm Hillary.
And this is Cocktails and Capitalism. So, today we are drinking The Judge, which is composed of 1 ounce of bourbon and a ½ ounce of apricot brandy, which I didn't have, so I basically just took the brandy that I did have and soaked some dried apricots in it. And it tasted great, so I
actually
excited
did
about
the
that.
same thing. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to find apricot brandy, but
I know. What the fuck? But you put the effort in. You went out to get it, but they just didn't have it.
Totally.
Damn it.
Yeah, damn it.
But it's maybe not my favorite cocktail ever, but I like the taste of it. I love the apricot taste with the brandy, with the bourbon. It's so good.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely not my favorite either. I will also flat out admit I'm kind of a wimp, and like it's strong. It's gonna kick me in the butt.
Yeah,
gonna knock me down. But but it's tasty. It's definitely an enjoyable beverage.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I could definitely drink a lot more of these. I actually have a backup drink because this is going to be a little bit longer of an episode. So I made a backup drink and I put it in a little cooler that I have sitting right next to me here because it's hot as fucking balls right now.
Yeah, take note, listeners. Get your backup drink ready. You're going to need a second one.
Yeah, especially during this time where it's like, it looks like the apocalypse out. It's so smoky. There's fires burning all over California. During this pandemic, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the sky is just this one awful hazy shade of gray. It's just
yeah.
It's a little ominous.
And it's so fucking hot. It's just like these past days.
Both Erica and I are sitting here with wet rags around our necks to try and keep cool. Gotta do what you gotta do, right?
We're pushing through.
Yeah, we definitely are.
Like the U.S. Postal Service.
Like
Come
the
rain,
U.S. Postal
snow.
Service. Excessive heat. Crazy ash skies.
Yeah. Apocalypse and all. But, all right. So I'm just going to jump right in. So imagine your name is Hillary and you're a 14-year-old high school student. Imagine that the vice principal at your school is known for being a harsh disciplinarian, so you decide to have some fun at her expense. You create a fake social media profile for her, one that says she spends most of her time, quote, reading silly teen magazines and daydreaming about Johnny Depp in nothing but tidy whities. Ooh la la.
Ooh la la. I mean, my name is Hillary, and I was 14 at one point. I'm not sure how much I dreamed of, who is it in Tiny Whities?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp? Yeah, there was probably a lot of time.
I think you were at the time. I think when you were 14, turning 15, maybe we had a pirate
Pirates
beach
of the Caribbean.
party. Yeah.
And I was obsessed with that movie. Okay, all right, yeah, totally calling me out. This is definitely accurate. Okay.
Yeah, so we've been friends since we were like very young.
Yeah, we may as well have been like in the womb together. Like, it's ridiculous.
It feels like that. Get out of my pants.
Like get out of my pants.
But okay. Months later, the phone rings and you hear your mother's furious voice yelling, "Hillary, do you know anything about a MySpace page?" When you respond, "Yeah, from months ago," the police officer on the phone hears your voice, says you've confessed, and tells your mom he's coming down to arrest you. You're standing next to your mom now, who looks totally shocked. She says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you're not going to speak to my daughter without an attorney." In response, you hear the officer yelling something about how, quote, "parents like you always let their kids off the hook.
Oh,
And if you get a lawyer involved, we'll increase the charges against your daughter." He threatens to charge you with internet stalking if your mom hires an attorney, and he says they've been watching your internet activity. When your mom gets off the phone, she desperately calls around in search of help. She calls your grandmother, who tells her she's probably overreacting, and recommends speaking with the same officer to clear up any misunderstandings. Your mom calls the officer, who says he is willing to reduce the charges to a misdemeanor if no lawyers get involved. Feeling relieved, your mother agrees, asking if they're still planning to come arrest you tonight. They say, no, we'll send more information in the mail.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So months pass, and you finally receive a package with instructions. You're interviewed by juvenile probation officers who ask you to intimate questions without a lawyer present. They tell you and your mother that you'll probably receive probation and community service, stating over and over that a lawyer is unnecessary. Your court date arrives, and you walk in to find tables assigned by last name with dozens of other kids and parents in their designated spaces. You're asked to sign a document that states that you have no attorney, and you comply, expecting that a public defender has been assigned to your case. When you enter into the actual courtroom, the vice principal of your school is there, and she greets the prosecutor by kissing him on the cheek and asking about his family. You realize no public defender is going to help you. Your case is announced, the judge stands up, and you're stunned when the trial begins with the judge yelling, "What makes you think you can do this kind of crap?"
Whoa.
Yeah. As you sink into a state of shock, the yelling becomes more distant, but you manage to hear the words, "adjudicated delinquent." After less than 60 seconds, the trial is over, and you are led into another room in handcuffs.
Okay, pause. I need a definition, please.
Yeah.
Adjudicated? What does that mean, may I ask?
I mean, like, I think a judge said that you are a delinquent, like, it's been adjudicated or something like that. I should have looked up the word, but I think that's basically what it means.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. It all feels like a distant nightmare as you listen to your mother pleading and wailing. You can barely believe what is happening as the bailiff turns to you and says, "Look what you did to your mother."
Whoa.
Like, it's so fucked. So this is the experience of Hillary Transu, a student at Crestwood High School in northeastern Pennsylvania. In 2007, she was charged with harassment and sentenced to 3 months in a juvenile detention center. This was a huge shock to Hillary and her mother, Lorraine, as their local magistrate had explained that the maximum sentence if she were tried as an adult would have been 1 night in jail and a $50 fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it should have been
hugely
nothing.
Different.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead, you're walked away in cuffs. Desperate to help her daughter, Lorraine contacted a public defender who told her the same judge, Mark Chivarella, never accepted appeals and wouldn't even allow one to be scheduled. Lorraine contacted a public defender in the capital, the ACLU, and so many others, but no one was willing to intervene. Finally, she called the Juvenile Law Center in Philadelphia, and they agreed to take Hillary's case free of charge.
Awesome.
Yeah. What a huge relief that must have been to them. Like,
huge. Well, especially with all of the confusion being bombarded first off with the, oh, don't get a lawyer. No. Absolutely get a lawyer. No. What? I hope you dive much more into, how incorrect that officer was to say, oh, don't even bother getting a lawyer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't talk too much more about that. I mean, I talk around that a little bit, but...
Well, we could even just leave it at that. That officer was 100% incorrect.
Yeah.
And that's so awful to have bombarded that family with that misinformation and that scare tactic. That's just wrong.
And that's literally trying to just... Oops, sorry. I silence my phone.
All right, Miss Popular, put your phone away.
It's nothing important. If there's going to be some legal action against you, if you're going to be arrested or something, don't ever deny your right to have a lawyer.
What is it, the Miranda Act that was read to you? Your rights?
Yeah.
Listen to every single word. You have the right to remain silent. You do. You do not have to say a word. You can wait till you have a lawyer, and a lawyer will be provided for you.
And if you don't have the money for a lawyer, a public defender will be provided for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
don't sign any
everyone
shit.
Should know. A lot of that's. I'm really glad that you're bringing this up, because a lot of people don't know their rights. A lot of people that either they're scared or they don't know, or whatever happens in that moment. you know, that sometimes individuals think like, oh man, I could just like, maybe I could just like get out of this or whatever. I can just escape this crazy situation that's happening right now. And yeah, fine. Now I know this, and this, and this. And then they just spill their guts or they say whatever. And, you know, you don't have to say a word, you know, wait for your lawyer, wait for for the professional to come and keep you protected.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it would be terrifying though to say, if you do get a lawyer, we are going to increase the charges to something else that you really don't want. You know, that would be such a huge pressure. And I think that tactic is used more commonly than people think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's really not okay, though.
Yeah.
And really it's incorrect.
Despicable and should be illegal.
Yeah. It should be illegal. I hope that is. Maybe we can look more into that. Like, is it in fact illegal?
To do that kind of shit?
Yeah.
Tell people to not get a lawyer. Yeah. I don't quite know, but yeah. So the Juvenile Law Center filed a petition that resulted in Hillary's release 3 weeks later. Thank God.
Yeah.
Soon after, the JLC launched its own independent investigation of the Luzerne County judicial system, during which they discovered hundreds of similar cases where teens had been tried without legal counsel.
Oh, wow.
The FBI was also investigating corruption in the county, and they reached out to the Juvenile Law Center for information. Soon the FBI had a search warrant to obtain courthouse records. They discovered not hundreds, but thousands of cases in which teenagers had been sent to detention centers for insanely small offenses.
Oh my God.
One had slapped a schoolmate, one had stolen a $4 jar of nutmeg, and one had thrown a piece of meat at his stepfather.
And they spent how much time in jail?
I don't know exactly for those ones, but the kid who was arrested for throwing meat at his stepfather was a tiny, like, underweight for his young age kid who ended up being shipped off with like all these hardened criminal, juvenile delinquents and yeah, it's so horrendous.
Damn.
But
yeah. That just, the wrongdoing does not match the ramification.
Yeah, no, not at all.
That's insane.
Totally disproportionate consequences.
Yes.
So another boy, the 14-year-old Charlie Bella Savage, was arrested along with his parents for accepting a scooter as a gift from his parents, a scooter that the police claimed had been stolen.
So allegedly, like the parents stole the scooter, but then the kid who has the scooter is the one who faced charges?
They like bought the scooter from someone who had stolen it or something like that. So it wasn't like he'd even stolen it, but they arrested all of them, including the parents. And then basically it was like, no, don't hold charges against my parents. I'll take the consequences of this as a kid. He's saying this 14-year-old kid.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So the cops discouraged Charlie from getting a lawyer, assuring him that he would only get probation or community service for accepting stolen property. In court, Judge Chivarella sentenced Charlie to 3 months at Camp Adams, citing his clear, quote, behavior problems since Charlie had been avoiding school because he had been teased so much for having a speech impediment.
Oh.
Yeah, that fucking makes me so mad.
Yeah.
While at boot camp, Charlie was influenced by the teenagers who actually belonged there. He was encouraged to try marijuana, and when he returned to court and admitted to having experimented with weed, he was sent to another detention facility.
Oh, shit.
This was the start of a vicious cycle in which Charlie would be sent in and out of detention facilities for 5 whole goddamn years.
That could have been avoided entirely had he not gone in the first place.
Yeah.
Which he didn't need to.
I mean, he would have just been a normal, probably shy kid in school, just continue, skateboarding around and doing his whatever 14-year-old kid things.
Yeah, right?
Not a bad kid.
So 5 years later down the road, he's 19. Do we know what happens with this little guy after?
I saw him on a NPR interview. He was in his 20s at the time, and he seems like he kind of like had gotten a little bit more confident, but had kind of had gained some perspective on the experience.
Okay.
And it wasn't like a hardened, horrible kid. And he was speaking out.
Yeah, that's positive. But still, I mean, he went through 5 years for absolutely nothing. That is just insane.
Of crucial years where you're forming the groundwork for your whole adult life, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
So he emerged from the experience a totally different person. But all of this took place.
I'm happy that he ended up, coming out of it. He came out of it okay, but just to rob those 5 years from him is just not okay. That's an injustice.
Yeah. It is so, so awful. Makes me so sad. So all of this took place in the wake of numerous school shootings, including the 1999 Columbine massacre.
Yeah.
In response to these tragedies, schools adopted harsher disciplinary practices and zero-tolerance policies. Many students were suspended or expelled for first-time offenses. When Mark Civarella was running for judge in 1995, he promised to prosecute juveniles as adults and impose maximum sentences.
No. Oh, man. God. No, that's not the answer.
And he's doing this, outright. He goes to every single high school in the county to personally announce that he's ready to lock up teens, any teen that appears in his courtroom. So elected to 2 10-year terms.
Yeah, that's the solution. Just throw them behind bars. Sure.
Yeah. Because some other kids, brought guns into school, so now you can do this kind of crap.
Can you imagine if this happened to us as we were kids, how much time we would have spent in jail?
Oh my God. I would have been so angry at the world.
Yeah.
So angry that I would have turned into a bad kid.
Totally.
I would be acting out while locked up. I would be acting out in all kinds of ways because I was subjected to things that should never have been done to a child.
Yeah.
So, elected to 2 10-year terms, Civarella made good on his campaign promises, and he went much, much further.
Oh, jeez.
So let's back up a little bit and talk about how this all started.
Okay.
In addition to being colleagues, judges Mark Civarella and Michael Conahan were close friends. They often enjoyed expensive group vacations in Florida with their wives, and I think their favorite cocktails together were martinis. They would always drink. I was maybe we could do martinis. I was like, I don't want to drink anything that these assholes are drinking.
I don't want to be associated with them whatsoever. So we're drinking the judge instead.
Exactly.
Good choice there, Erica.
Thank you. In the year 2000, another friend of theirs, a wealthy personal injury lawyer named Robert Powell, approached Civarella asking for help. Powell wanted to build the first for-profit detention facility in Luzerne County.
Of course, for-profit.
Yeah.
Gotta pay for those Florida vacations somehow. Those martinis aren't free, baby girl. Come on. Gotta pay for it with the blood of our youth.
With the blood of our youth. Cheers to that.
No cheers to that. No cheers to that.
I should just pour this drink on the floor now.
No, I suggest drinking that one. But you're going to need it to get through this episode because I'm already my blood's boiling. But I know. Keep going because this is great.
I thought it might be tough.
Yeah.
It's like,
this is
Hillary,
gnarly.
You need a second.
Good thing I made a double. Lord,
exactly.
Girl. Golly, should have made a triple.
Seriously, I kind of made a quadruple because I've got a little cooler here, with my second drink.
You actually just have the bottles of the mixers in sitting next to you. Bag of ice and all. You're like, I'm ready to go. We're just gonna keep going.
One bourbon and the brandy bottle straight into my mouth.
Yeah, we're not alcoholics at all. Okay, sorry.
I try to keep it under control most of the time. So
yes, indeed.
So Powell wanted to build the first for-profit detention facility in Luzerne County, and he had the money to make it happen. All he needed was a builder. Civarella knew just the man for the job, an old friend and real estate developer named Robert Miracle. After agreeing to help, Miracle located land to begin the construction of the county's first for-profit detention center, PA Childcare.
Childcare.
Yeah, isn't that fucking rich?
Holy. Oh, man. Okay.
The gall that these people have to call a facility like that. Such
Childcare.
A benign, sweet name.
Wow, man.
So the motivation for these
did they really think that they were pulling wool over people's eyes? Really? Like, did they believe that?
I mean, it worked for a while, you know?
Shit.
This is like the state funding it and stuff, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Your tax dollars at work, everybody.
Yep. So nice.
Oh my. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
No worries at all.
Crazy.
Please interrupt. So the motivation for these moves was simple. For connecting the future owner of the facility with the builder, Chivarello would receive $1 million from a real estate developer, Robert Miracle. Chivarello would later testify that he split the money with Judge Conahan because, quote, he was the one who made it all happen. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Conahan. In 2002, Michael Conahan became president judge, giving him control over the court's budgetary matters. That very same month, he signed a secret deal with Powell, ensuring that the center would receive $1.3 million in rent each year. This would be in addition to the tens of millions of taxpayer dollars that the county and state would have to pay to incarcerate teenagers at PA Childcare and its sister facility, Western PA Childcare. These two centers and the company that operated them, Mid-Atlantic Youth Services Corp., were all partly owned by Attorney Powell. Later in the year, once the new facility was nearly finished, President Judge Conahan slashed funding for the county juvenile detention center, forcing the public facility to close. In doing so, Judge Conahan left the county commissioners no choice but to approve the contract for the private center, because they need to put the kids somewhere, and right. He closes the public one down. So PA Childcare was awarded a 20-year, $50 million lease. It was around this time that Judges Chivarella and Conahan really ramped up their conviction rates. From 2001 to 2002, the number of teenagers in the county who were sent to detention centers doubled.
I just can't believe that. Okay, so it doubled. So like they're literally just making hand over fist money on children's mischievous ways, basically. Like, because they're going to these facilities for things that like really should just be like a parental slap on the wrist, like, and not even like,
yeah,
that's just insane to me.
It should be like, coming from their parents. Totally.
Right.
Yeah. When someone's 14 years old and they do something like accept a skateboard.
Yeah.
Or throw meat.
Yeah.
Which is kind of my favorite of the offenses. Like, this person just threw me and he just really kind of liked it too.
I wasn't going to admit that, but I was like, that kid's rad.
I bet that stepdad was
kind of my hero.
Kind of deserved it.
Yeah, right? Like, I'm pissed off at you. Like, roast beef to the face.
And you're like a little kid and like, it's like you have no recourse. That's
like they could be doing so much worse things, right? But he's like, no, I don't know.
Just like
real because of that, you're gonna
go
spend time in jail. Like, it's crazy. I'm letting out some of my anger.
Good. You'll need to periodically. So this trend, the doubling trend of kids being sent to these centers, continued through 2007, with children in the region being incarcerated at a rate that was over twice the average for the state. Most of the teens who appeared before Chivarello were pressured not to seek legal counsel. When compared with others with state averages, the children tried in Chivarello's courtroom were 10 times as likely to appear without a lawyer.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Isn't that incredible?
Well, yeah, when you're threatened with higher charges, you're not going to get a lawyer. And then when you don't have a lawyer, you're going to be fucking wronged in that court, and you're going to get an unfair trial.
Yeah.
Like, that is so wrong. That is absolutely wrong. Like, every single one of these children that spent any time in these facilities need to be given hand over fist money.
I know.
To make up for their wrong, for the fact that they spent time in these facilities. unjustly.
Yeah. I think a lot of them actually did get some money in response, but it was like a small, like,
no, it needs to be like, here's a fucking house, here's a fucking car, here's,
here's college tuition.
Children's college. Yeah, here's your college tuition, here's your children's college tuition, here's whatever you want and need in life, because that was fucking wrong. Okay, maybe that's a little extreme, but still, like, that is not okay.
And you'll hear that the, like, what these assholes were charged to, like, pay as like a fine is just ridiculously small when they're making millions.
It was just like, I'm sure it was a tiny little, like, oh, don't do that.
Drop in the bucket. Yeah. They got the slap on the wrist.
Yeah. Well, these kids, they spent time in jail. And like, so not only did it take time away from their life, but it also, like, it also affects their psyche, right? It's like for the rest of their life, they're living with the fact that, like, they spent that time in jail. Like, they've got that, like, in their head, they've got that in their history. Like, they have to grapple with that. Like, you rob them of you just kind of rob them of
their innocence, or
I feel like that. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Like, but robbing them of their innocence and robbing them of, the chance to have experienced a justly and more fair ramification, right?
Yeah.
So then they were taught, I do this tiny thing and I get this humongous ramification. Yeah. And that's in them forever.
And it's not a deterrent to future bad actions.
No, not at all. So it's just incredibly unfair and I don't know. Probably has more, brings more troubles than I think that we even know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, these people, their whole lives, like, they've been robbed of trust in society. Yeah. They've been robbed of faith.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. You're kind of filling in my gaps here. Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, because I'm just, like, thinking about how I would feel.
Yeah.
I would be wrecked, and I would look at any authority figure as a possible, like, manipulation, a possible manipulator of my desires, a lot of these kids were really good kids. Yeah. Seriously talented, smart, like, so much promise. And some of them, are successful and doing well now, but that's not all of them, It's really fucking sad. But
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. So in exchange for funneling thousands of children into the for-profit facilities built by Miracle, the two judges continued to receive kickbacks. They were given another $1.6 million from Powell and Miracle, the owner and builder of the centers. In 2004, the two judges bought a $785,000 condominium in Florida.
My God.
Yeah. This would help them conceal their illegal kickbacks as rental income.
Oh my God.
Fucks.
This is just getting worse.
Yeah. So the condominium offered
really
a lavish...
pissed off, Erica.
I'm sorry.
God.
This is going to boil your blood so bad.
I'm seriously pissed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're right to be. So right. The condominium offered a lavish escape for the judges and their wives. The four would often luxuriate on the 56-foot, $1.5 million yacht that Attorney Powell kept just outside the judge's condo. In the ultimate irony, Powell had named this yacht the Real Justice.
Oh, shit, of course.
You fucking asshole! Fuck!
Yeah, seriously. It's so awful. God.
You just can't get more, like, corrupt. It's just so bad.
This is like a fucking nightmare cartoon.
I know. It is. Involving kids.
Yeah.
So another victim of Chivarella's courtroom was Edward Kenzakowski, a 17-year-old all-star wrestler with a nice girlfriend and a college scholarship on the horizon. After Ed's parents realized that he'd been experimenting with drugs and alcohol, his father enlisted a police officer friend to help scare Edward straight. Ugh. The father then planted a marijuana pipe in Ed's car and had the police arrest him at a party, expecting that this would result in a small slap on the wrist. Instead, Ed was kept in jail over the weekend until it was time to enter Chivarella's courtroom. As in the other cases, Edward and his mother, Sandy Fonzo, were forced to sign a paper stating that they had no lawyer, and within less than a minute he was shackled and removed from the courtroom. In an NPR interview, Sandy would later recall the utter helplessness she felt as her son turned to her with a look of bewilderment before being taken away. While imprisoned at PA childcare, Edward was forced to undergo a psych evaluation that was conducted by the son-in-law of Judge Conahan.
Of course. Keep it in the family. Gotta keep it in the fam.
And there's this motivation there to have this person in the family saying, yes, they're so fucked up, they need to stay in this facility.
Definitely. It doesn't really matter what the results were, right? Like, no, my assessment is, he's fucked up. Stay in the facility. Make money off this kid.
Yeah, exactly. Because we need to fill our quotas. We need to fill the beds. It's literally what it's about. So
also, what in the hell was that father thinking?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Can we just pause and go? No.
Yeah. If you
what was he thinking? Why did he think that was a good solution?
Yeah,
I'd give so much to hear his answer.
Maybe it was just that his son wasn't listening to him, so he thought that he would listen to this police authority or whatever, and they're not going to do anything really bad, and it's our friend who's the cop, so they won't do anything really awful. But once you get the law involved, it's you can't stop that ball from rolling.
Yeah, certainly.
And certain consequences are going to stem from that you don't have any control over anymore.
Yeah.
So during Edward's month at PA childcare, his mother collected letter after letter from coaches and teachers that praised her son's character and abilities. Nevertheless, after his second court date, he was shackled and sent off to a highly militarized boot camp for 3 months. At his next hearing, Chivarella condemned Edward for experimenting with drugs, shipping him off to a rehabilitation center called Clearbrook. By this time, he had lost his girlfriend and all chances of a college scholarship. He even lost the opportunity to complete his senior year of high school. Jesus. Yeah. Edward refused to talk about what happened to him while imprisoned, but his character was forever changed. After getting into a fight, Edward ended up in Chivarella's courtroom once again, but this time he was sent away to state prison for 3 years.
For
getting into a fight. I think
3 years.
So he's really, I think at this point, so, like we're saying, disenchanted, angry, frustrated with all the powers that be. You know, he's so angry. So he's sent away for 3 years.
And I'm sure that trial was also without him having an attorney.
Yeah. I wonder if he had an attorney at that point. I don't know that.
Yeah, that'd be good to know.
I fucking hope at that point that they would have been we need representation because we're being taken advantage of. So this is really harsh, but so he's sent away to prison for 3 years. Only 5 months after his release, at the age of 23, Edward walked out into the forest near his home and shot himself in the heart.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I know. It's so fucking sad. I'm sorry. It's really sad.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'm just gonna continue on.
Okay.
Sorry. In the nearly 6 months from 2003 to 2008, the money-making scheme involving Chivarella. Yeah. Do you want to take a moment and just reflect on that?
No. It's rough. Keep going.
I'm so sorry.
That's shit.
I fucking hate what happened to him. It's one of the worst things about this whole story. The fucking most brutal, horrific thing.
Yeah.
But so in the nearly 6 years from 2003 to 2008, the money-making scheme involving Chivarella, Conahan, Miracle, and Powell affected the lives of up to 6,000 teenagers.
Jesus.
6 fucking thousand. Many of the adolescents who passed through Chiaverella's courtroom would never regain stable footing in society. Rather than retrying these victims, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court chose to throw out 4,000 of the convictions issued by Chiaverella and Conahan. Governor Ed Rendell publicly condemned Judges Chiaverella and Conahan, declaring that the two men, quote, violated the rights of as many as 6,000 young people by denying them basic rights to counsel and handing down outrageously excessive sentences.
I cannot believe this happened.
Yeah. To such a crazy extent. For profit.
Yeah.
So in the criminal proceedings that followed the JLC and FBI investigations, it was determined that the judges had received $2.6 million from the owner and developer of the for-profit juvenile facility. Attorney Powell had actually stuffed FedEx boxes with cash and delivered them to Conahan's office. Once he realized that investigators were closing in on him, Powell agreed to wear a wire to help incriminate his co-conspirators. In return for his cooperation, Powell received an incredibly lenient sentence. He spent 18 months in a cushy, minimum security federal prison camp in Pensacola.
Motherfucker should have gotten max and should have gotten life.
Oh, my God, yeah. But it sucks that it's like, if you want to get that help from people who know what's going on, then you have to give them these fucking deals or, like, they get away with shit. It's just, it's so bad. And then he's the most cowardly snitch of all of them, so he goes and he gets a better sentence, you know?
Yeah, like, of course.
You fuck. So, minimum security federal prison in Pensacola, Florida, where he would have opportunities for employment and recreation at a nearby naval station and Air Force base.
Yeah, so he gets opportunities for employment afterwards, probably set up with a job right after, but these poor kiddos that were in his facilities had absolutely nothing for them as they came out.
Yeah. Nothing. No one on their side. A record to have to contend with that's going to affect you getting a job. You know, it's going to affect everything after that. It makes my blood boil, too.
Affects college applications.
Yeah.
It affects everything.
Affects your relationships, your friendships, your family relationships. Like, you're just, fucking. So, the builder of the private juvenile facilities, Robert Miracle, pleaded guilty to failing to disclose a felony conspiracy to defraud the government of tax revenue. He served a 1-year sentence and was ordered to pay $2.15 million to support local health and welfare programs for children. It's like, that's a fucking drop in the bucket for you, you fucking asshole.
It's a dime. It's a dime out of his pocket.
Exactly.
He's like, here you go. Here you go. That's cute.
So, after closing the public detention center, signing a secret agreement to send children to the public facility, and accepting payoffs from the builder and owner of the private center, Judge Conahan was sentenced to 17 and a half years in prison for one count of racketeering conspiracy. So I guess racketeering is like when it's a crime, but it's at like a government level, like while you're a government official or something.
Yeah.
But in June of 2020, after serving only 9 years of his sentence in a medium security prison, Conahan was allowed to return to his lovely home because of concerns about the coronavirus.
You're fucking kidding me.
This just happened.
Send his ass back.
I know. And Trump's like, send the, we're gonna open up all the schools and have all the kids go because of, it doesn't matter that there's this pandemic going on, but you're gonna release this fucking criminal.
Yeah. For fear of him contracting the coronavirus.
Yeah, poor guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. The injustice, man.
Seriously.
It's fucked up.
Edward's mom, in a clip that I heard of her that was really gut-wrenching, she's just screaming there's no justice, there's never any justice, and if you got caught stealing a loaf of bread because you're starving, you're going to get sent to jail.
Yeah.
She's fucking right.
She is right. Yeah.
So, thus, Conahan joined the likes of Michael Cohen, Trump's ex-lawyer, and Paul Manafort, Trump's ex-campaign chairman, who have been released from prison early during the current pandemic. It's possible that Conahan will spend the remainder of his sentence under home confinement, a very cushy alternative to federal prison.
Home confinement.
Yeah.
Like the rest of us.
Exactly.
You motherfucker. Get your ass back in jail. Just, no, I'm not accepting this at all. You could just go back. No.
So now for Ciavarella. Following a jury trial in 2011, Ciavarella was convicted of 12 of the 39 charges brought against him, including racketeer charges for using teens as pawns to enrich himself. Oops. They were going to have much smaller charges brought against them, but one of the stipulations for the first judge that they were dealing with was that they acknowledge their crimes and be truthful about that. But then they go and do all these interviews where they're saying, no, it wasn't a Kids for Cash scandal, which is what the scandal was called.
Exactly what it was.
It's exactly what it fucking was, yeah. And journalists access these judges who wouldn't talk to other journalists by saying, your story has been one side of your story has been told, the side of the kids who have been sent off to these facilities, but your side of the story hasn't been told. So will you talk to us and tell us? And so they basically like try to deny everything, say that they've committed no crimes, that it's been blown out of proportion, whatever. And then because of running their mouths and saying this crap that was untrue, the next judge says, you guys are going to court and the charges are increased.
That's amazing. That's so good.
That made me so
That makes me
happy.
really happy. That makes me really happy. That's like,
it's a little...
How's that foot taste, huh?
Totally.
Delicious.
Delicious.
Fuck you.
Speaking of delicious, I'm like finishing this first cocktail. I'm going to start my second.
Nice. Get on it, girl. Get on it.
Opening my cooler, rummaging around.
I'm still on my first.
Nice. Yeah, you're pacing yourself.
Yeah, I have to.
I'm gonna get sloshed. Yeah.
If you want any sort of interaction in this in this episode, you want me to pace myself.
I like you when you're messy, Hill.
Sloppy drunk.
Speaking of which, I'm having flashbacks right now to times in hotel rooms getting wasted with you. So
the youth that we got to enjoy because we weren't victims of that motherfucker.
Fucking fuck yeah. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
I'm cheersing my own 2 drinks together.
There we go. I love it. It's so good.
So the judge, Ciavarella, was also charged with conspiring to launder money as well as honest services fraud.
What the fuck didn't this guy do? God.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're laundering money, you're fucking using kids, basically selling their time for profit for you. Like,
yep, kids for cash.
Yep. Ciavarella was charged with honest services fraud because his young victims were deprived of the right to a fair trial. So for these and other offenses, Ciavarella was sentenced to 28 years in federal prison.
So I just had a thought here. How did this even happen, right? Like, there was no one, not a single soul in that courtroom that was like, wait a second, this is not how it's supposed to go down.
Exactly. I mean, other people have made the exact same point that, like, there's lawyers there, there's all these other people there. There's, like, Hillary Transu's mother was a social worker who was used to dealing with lawyers and dealing with, like, helping people get representation and stuff, but she was bullied by these people so hard into just being vulnerable to them.
Submitting.
Yeah, submitting. Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah. There's so many eyes on the situation, but no one wanted to intervene because it wasn't their jurisdiction, or this is a matter for your county, your state, your whatever.
Yeah.
Thank fucking God for the Juvenile Justice Center that was helping out Hillary Transu and her mother.
Yeah,
because
that's awesome.
Without,
bravo to them.
Yeah, a nonprofit, legal organization that's representing kids. And when she called, she's crying and saying, I'll take a loan out on my house to pay for this. Whatever you need, I'll pay for it. And they're saying,
like, no way, pro bono. Yep.
Yeah.
Love it.
Isn't
yes.
that just made me so happy. It made me cry when I read that. Like,
Jeez.
To be like ran over by everyone else, neglected by everyone else, and then to find an organization that cares and they're there to represent you specifically.
Yeah,
like,
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm so
God.
happy they exist. Yeah, that's
and
wonderful.
Note that this is in Pennsylvania. The Juvenile Law Center was in Philadelphia. It was like a totally different state, but they were like, this is so egregious that we're going to help you.
Yeah, definitely.
So, thank God. So unfortunately, Chivarella's legal battle continues, with his attorneys seeking to reduce his federal prison sentence. They argue that the few counts against Chivarella don't warrant his sentence, which fucking sucks because, like, 12 out of the 39 charges, like, I bet he was guilty of those 39.
All of the kids that spent time in their child care facilities should fucking come together and, like, increase his charge, like,
camp out on his lawn,
Yeah, like, right. Do something, do anything. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could do that, but his charges absolutely should not be decreased, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, totally. And I think that when victims that are like, we have all been victims of the same thing, like the Golden State Killer who was just arrested and charged for raping and murdering so many people in California. Mm-hmm. The victims there banded together and they spoke out and they showed up in the courtroom. They made their statements. They called him the fucking monster that he is.
Yeah.
And they found all of this unity and healing by just connecting with other people who had gone through the same fucked up thing.
Yeah.
So I think if there was more
like that can happen.
It can happen, and it can be really productive. Yeah. And I think it happened to a lesser extent in this case, where
that's good.
Some of the kids don't want to be put in the spotlight after all this shit, but some of them were like,
yeah, I can imagine that. They just kind of want to escape it, just move on.
But Hillary Transu, she was kind of a hero in that she was like, I didn't even get the worst sentence of anyone. I wasn't even in there for that long, but people represented me and fought for me, and I need to be a voice for the cause, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to tell my story.
Bravo, girl.
Yeah,
awesome.
Hillary.
Very cool. Good job,
I
Hillary.
actually was thinking about, like, trying to reach out to her and seeing if she would, like, do an interview or just, like, hang out and talk with me.
That'd be cool. A little follow-up interview. Hillary, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Email us at cocktailsandcapitalism@gmail.com.
Oh my God, I would love that. Yeah, she's definitely a hero of mine because she fought this, she spoke out, she told her story, and she's also like really fucking smart and doing well in life. I think she's teaching English or something.
That's exceptional. That is so great. Good for you, Hillary. Great job.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. A virtual high five.
Yeah. We need your positive story to kind of soften the blow of all this fucking awful shit. But
yeah,
just
definitely.
hearing it is so awful.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine going through it or having a kid who went through it.
No.
So
no, definitely not.
Yeah, I thought that would be kind of intense for you, just thinking about that on multiple fronts as being the kid and also having a kid.
Being a mom.
Yeah.
Hits hard hearing it as a mom,
Yeah. Sorry. I'm just going to keep apologizing.
You don't need to apologize, girl.
All right, so now I'm going to like hit you in the head with some more bullshit.
Oh, damn it.
Okay.
I had just stopped the bleeding from the previous blow.
Oh.
God.
I'm so sorry.
Here comes another hit.
Yep. So Chivarella's lawyers argue that the counts against him don't warrant his sentence. In an interview, Judge Chivarella even had the nerve to bemoan the fact that the 3 words, kids for cash, had caused him and his family so much hurt.
Oh, poor baby.
So sorry.
Oh.
You fucking pathetic fuck.
Boo. Can I get you a Kleenex?
Yeah.
Boo.
After his conviction, Chivarella was permitted to return home until his sentencing, which was scheduled a whole 60 days later. He then walked out of the courtroom free of any shackles and joined his lawyer in addressing the press atop the courthouse steps. So, Sandy Fonzo, the mother of Edward Kenzakowski, was heartbroken by the loss of her son.
Yeah.
Depressed and angry at a justice system that had stolen her child, Sandy was eager to see Judge Civarella shackled and taken away for his crimes. When she arrived at the courthouse steps, she was horrified to see Civarella standing freely beside his lawyer.
I would have lost it. I would have lost it.
You're going to be struck by that video then.
Oof.
Speaking to the press, Civarella's lawyer declared that, quote, he never took a kickback, he never took a bribe, and he never extorted Robert Powell.
Lies.
Lies, yep. The government affirmed him in all three things. This is not a kids for cash case, and we hope that someone starts getting the message. Before he had even finished his statement to the press, Sandy cut him off. Mm-hmm. I'm going to play the video of this moment for you.
We're going to stand here. We're not running or anything, okay? One question at a time.
How do you feel, Al?
We're amazed. The jury rejected 95% of the government's case. They obviously do not believe Robert Powell. They obviously do not believe Joe Moran. They rejected a large portion of the case, even with regards to Robert Miracle. They rejected most of the theories regarding kickbacks and bribes. The government really got hurt today on this entire case. And it stands for the proposition that what Mark Civarella said all along was true. He never took a kickback, he never took a bribe, and he never extorted Robert Powell. And the government affirmed him on all three things. This is not a cash for kids case, and we hope somebody starts getting the message.
My kid's not here anymore. My kid's not here. He's dead because of him. He ruined my fucking life. I'd like him to go to hell and rot there forever. No, you know what he told everybody in court? They need to be held accountable for their actions. You need to be. Do you remember me? Do you remember me? Do you remember my son? An all-star wrestler? He's gone. He's shot himself in the heart. You scumbag! You ruined my fucking life. I hate him. Somebody better do something with him. He's going home to his pregnant daughter. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
It's a hard jail sentence, Mark. What's your mind right now?
No problems waiting for you, Paul.
Say something.
I'll come get you.
I got nothing to say.
Next month, I'll come see you.
Mark, how do you feel? How do you feel right now? This. Mark,
your attorney says no kids for cash. What do you say about that?
He never took a dime to send a kid anywhere. If that was the case, that would have been in this trial. You don't think the government would have put me on trial for that if that was the case? Never happened. Never, ever happened. This case was about extortions and kickbacks. That's what this case was about, not about kids for cash. Because if it was, they'd have had that on trial.
Mark, you were convicted of racketeering and serious charges. What do you have to get back?
Sorry.
Holy fuck.
Isn't that fucking insane?
Say again?
Isn't that just the worst, most fucking heart-wrenching thing?
Heart-wrenching. I would have reacted the same way.
Yeah. Every single time I've watched that video.
And of course, that stupid motherfucker was just so beautifully trained by his lawyer to just keep it on that one smart little quip phase of just, you know, this wasn't about kickbacks. This trial wasn't about kickbacks. And it's like, no, but like, that's completely negating the big picture of everything about how he fucking ruined thousands of children's lives.
Thousands.
And that mother had every right to completely lose her shit.
So fucking, ugh. I'm so glad that she was there.
That motherfucker needs to rot in jail.
He needs to rot in jail for the rest of his life until he dies.
Oh.
He can't be home with his family. He can't go home to, you know, like she's yelling about how he's going home to his pregnant wife, and he's not in cuffs or anything like her son was. He's just gonna go and fucking have his rich, you know, luxurious lifestyle until he goes into this, you know, cushy kind of prison setup.
Yep.
Like, fucking makes me insane. But every single time I
boils my fucking blood.
Yeah. Every time I watch that video, though, I can't watch it without, like, crying.
Sobbing. Just fucking sobbing. Yeah. Absolutely just... Ugh. And he just stays so cool and calm and collected and just totally fine with himself. Completely fine with himself.
Just
a fucking asshole.
Yeah. He just seems, like he's trained. He knows the system so well.
Oh, yeah.
He knows how to work all of these people, how to work.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if he wasn't so dumb about talking about what went down, then he probably would have had a lesser sentence, which would have been a tragedy.
Yes.
A total tragedy. Sandy Fonso, though, she breaks my heart, man. And she makes me, like, just out of her pure rage and depression and desperation, she's an activist. Just this pure expression of her.
I wish she didn't have to be, though.
No. I wish that she had her kid and he was through with college and he was being successful.
Living a normal life.
Living a normal life, which he would have if he had been allowed to stay in high school, get a college scholarship, hang out with his girlfriend, have a good time, fucking...
Just stay on the very happy, healthy track that he was on.
It was all just totally robbed, stolen from him. Should I continue or do you want a minute?
I need a minute.
Okay. I'm sorry, Hill.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah. It's...
You better cut this out.
Okay. Yeah. It's good, though.
I've got snot in my nose.
It put snot in my nose, too. I've literally watched that video like 10 times, and every time I can't, like, I can go from being completely composed, and then I'm just like, fuck this. I can't. It's like the as a mother watching this go down, knowing that it's happening to other kids too.
Yeah.
Fucking, I can't even imagine being in her position.
Are these child care centers still open and running today? I fucking hope they aren't.
I need to go double check that. Should I proceed?
Proceed.
Okay. So proponents of privatized detention centers claim that they cost the American taxpayer less than public facilities. Quite the opposite is true. An audit report released in December of last year revealed that private prisons in Georgia were costing the state significantly more than public centers. In this case, private prisons actually cost taxpayers 9% more to house a single inmate for a day. So that's like $49.07 versus $44.56 to house someone for a day.
Damn.
After the Kids for Cash scandal gained national publicity, state auditors in Pennsylvania found that PA Childcare and its sister facility were systematically overbilling the county. This fucks.
God.
Yeah. Could you get any worse? In fact, one of the first red flags that drew scrutiny to the PA childcare facilities was that they had begun to receive shut-off notices for their utilities because they had fallen so far behind with bill payments.
Oh, okay, cute.
Cute, yeah.
These billionaires can't pay their fucking bills. Fuck you.
Oh, it's all going to CEOs and to lobbying politicians. We can't afford it. So their incentives to cut costs to increase profit severely damaged their ability to offer the services the public was already paying for. So cost isn't the only problem with for-profit detention centers. In a New York Times article about the Kids for Cash scandal, journalist Ian Urbina writes that since the centers were privately owned, state auditors had limited authority. And since the judges were on the side of the centers, the auditors had little recourse in the event of a conflict. So lack of oversight is one of the biggest problems with privatizing public services.
Yeah.
They are often allowed to function without having to publish information and statistics about their operations.
Wow.
Because private centers aren't subjected to the same inspections and audits as public facilities, they tend to foster corruption. This is a big part of the reason why the payoffs were allowed to continue for so long in the Kids for Cash scandal.
Yeah, and so many opportunities to just hide money and all that craziness.
Exactly. There's no oversight. There's no one watching you, holding you accountable. There's just save us some money and go about your own business. But that's not even happening.
No.
A 2013 Huffington Post investigation into for-profit juvenile centers concluded that violence, inadequate care, and sexual abuse were pervasive at private juvenile facilities.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah, I'm sure of it.
If you're not being, overseen by anyone, what do you think is going to happen to these people who have no say, no power? Physical and sexual abuse from guards and other inmates are both totally commonplace and out of control in the private centers. The Department of Justice conducted a 2012 survey that found that private juvenile facilities had twice the rate of reported sexual abuse than government-controlled ones.
Jesus. So these kids are going to these facilities for reasons unfounded, and then they're being abused there, all while lining the pockets of these rich motherfuckers in Florida drinking their martinis.
Exactly.
Awesome. This is great.
Awesome. Yeah.
Ugh.
To fill up for-profit centers that are going to make their buddies, their cronies rich,
Yeah.
So 8% of the inmates in these private facilities were experiencing sexual abuse versus 4% in the government-controlled facilities. In the same year, the Juvenile Residential Facility Census made another horrible discovery, finding that the death rate of inmates was much higher in private facilities than in public ones.
Oh, wow. Wait, why?
Because they're being abused more. Maybe they're the sanitary conditions, the humanitarian conditions in these facilities when they're trying to cut costs. Let's give them shittier food. Let's give them shittier healthcare. Let's give them shittier rooms and whatever it is.
Yeah.
You just cut from the people that you're supposed to be paying to house. And then the profit is going into the pockets of the few people that are owning and operating these facilities. And then into politicians' pockets, because then they lobby and they try to, make sure that they're going to get contracts for years and years to come.
Yeah.
In recent years, public awareness has been growing about the ugly nature of for-profit prisons. This is an industry worth billions of dollars. These companies force state governments to sign contracts that require a minimum occupancy rate. This means that the state must fill the facilities, usually to 90% full, or they're heavily fined by the corporation. Yeah. So
why is that fine in place? That's not okay. That should not.
I think a lot of the time these for-profit companies sweep in when there's our prisons are overcrowded, and we're going to bring down the cost for you. We're going to be cheaper, more efficient, they say.
Yeah.
But then they just totally don't do that. And then they get to set their own terms where they say, okay, well, we need to have this many beds, which means that we're going to make this much per person per day, and it needs to be this many years of a contract, and if the facility isn't that full, then that means that you're not filling your side of the bargain, so then you have to pay us because you didn't imprison enough people.
Jesus.
Yeah. So because these for-profit companies are always looking to cut costs and increase profits, their prisons tend to become less sanitary and less humane over time. Like the private juvenile facilities, these prisons have higher rates of violence, death, and recidivism. And recidivism is when people keep having to go back into the system again and again.
Okay.
Instead of going out and becoming a productive member of society, then you have to go back into the facility. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The private prison industry is intricately intertwined in American politics.
Yeah.
Yeah. In response to prison overcrowding, the Bureau of Prisons began contracting with private companies in the 90s. Years later, the Obama administration actually opened some for-profit immigration detention centers in Texas that are run by Geo Group and Core Civic, two of the biggest for-profit prison companies. These companies make billions each year, and they get about a third of the revenue from ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Oh, no.
Locking up people at the border, families, and...
Oh, no.
Yeah. Responding to the data from multiple audits, the Obama administration planned to gradually phase out private prisons by letting their contracts expire. As you might expect,
Instead of just dismantling them?
Yeah, like, you should just fucking end the contract right fucking there.
Yes.
Like, that's not enough of a move. And especially if someone else is going to go in power right after and change that.
Yeah.
As fucking happened. So, as you might expect, under the reign of Trump, the Justice Department has reversed Obama's plans to phase out the private federal prisons. GEO Group lobbyists and affiliates have donated nearly $2 million to Republicans, and the CEO of GEO Group has made huge donations to the Trump 2020 campaign.
Oh, yeah. Help keep us open. Help keep us rich. Help keep us trading in those kiddos for all that cash.
Oh, yeah. And, like, the stocks for these companies went through the roof when Trump was elected.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, he's going to be all for locking people up, locking immigrants up, locking up anyone who's marginalized, you know, like, gah. So CoreCivic and GEO have recently signed long-term contracts with the Trump administration for private immigration centers in Texas and California. On a brighter note, though, Joe Biden has actually committed to ending the use of private prisons.
Has he really?
Yeah!
Hell yes.
Fuck yeah. That just, like, gives me some hope. Oh, my God.
That, like, exploded my heart with happiness. I'm like, God, fuck, I can't handle it. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. No, that's... Thank God, really, because I'm sitting here thinking, like, how is this even continuing? Like...
It will continue if Trump
I love Biden.
I have some problems with Biden, but I'm so glad. I will vote for him any fucking day if the alternative is Trump. I will vote for a fucking
100%.
garbage can if the alternative is Trump. And Biden was pushed further to the left in this instance by the Bernie Sanders campaign, who was saying that these private prisons are increasing, you know, this kind of racial profiling, increasing the, like, racial injustice of locking people up, and just had all of the right complaints about it. So in gaining so much publicity, he was able to push Joe Biden in the right direction, even further left than Obama.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's positive.
Yay.
That's definitely positive.
I'm like, oh, any little thing I can hold on to that's positive about this. It's like,
I know. Yeah. And, like, I've always loved Bernie, but, like, I'm so glad that, you know, the Bernie supporters and, like, you know, everybody pushed for that and, like, really kind of increased advocacy to a point that Biden leaned in a little bit.
Yeah, leaned in.
Yeah.
I'm going to end this by reading you a quote from the activist Grace Bauer-Lubaugh, who helped to shut down the Tallulah Correctional Center for Youth that was rife with riots, beatings, and sexual abuse. Grace is also a co-founder of Justice for Families, an organization that is fighting to end the incarceration epidemic. She states that, I once saw a GEO memo to shareholders that talked about how it made sense to invest in private prisons in Louisiana because the state had an increasing population of kids in the juvenile system that would be fed into the adult system, ensuring a large inmate population for the private prisons.
Oh, my God.
Meanwhile, GEO Group CEO George Zoley continues to pocket $1 million salary and additional millions in compensation every single goddamn year. That's all. Yeah.
All right.
Just all of that.
Heart on the ground.
I'm sorry. I didn't give you...
Completely destroyed.
I didn't give you more of a, like, scoop your heart up off the ground episode ending.
No, you didn't.
I'm sorry.
No, not like last time.
I'm sorry.
I'm left with literally nothing. Just sadness. Sadness pervades my heart.
But also awareness. You know?
Awareness, yeah. Yeah.
And, like, if you found yourself or your child in a situation like this, maybe you'd be more likely to fucking fight it.
Yeah, definitely.
I know you would already fight it. You would already fight tooth and nail for what's right.
Yeah. I feel like as if I'm in a different position, though, that, like, these individuals maybe didn't know how to fight, you know?
Yeah.
And that's part of the injustice.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that was tough.
Yeah, man. That's, you definitely are keeping up with your pattern of the super sad, dark episodes and me with my cheerful episodes.
Yeah. Hopefully this is going to balance out in some way for people.
We can hope.
I don't know. I thought this would also be an important one for you to hear, though, because you do care deeply about children. You have a child, and you know what it would be like to fight for your kid, and you know, you have those investments. I don't know. I thought it would be doubly important to tell you this one.
Yeah, definitely. We dug in. It was very interesting. I learned a lot.
Yeah. Are you like, okay, no more episodes?
Yeah, Erica's not allowed to do any more episodes.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I mean, I kind of am, though, because how much that made me cry, too. You know, like, that was...
I doubt that that's going to be the last time that you make me cry. I highly doubt it.
I'm a little bit of a sadist, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah. I'm never going to make you cry, by the way. Like,
really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
already just thinking of like the list of topics that I've got. No. No, you're not going to cry.
Well, then that's good. Okay. I'll keep on my path. You keep on your path. It's going to even out.
And now you're going to be like, oh, no, that topic isn't dark enough. I need
No.
I need to really make her cry.
Part of me is like, this one's going
to get her.
Like, you have a big heart, you know?
I do.
And
I'm such a softie.
And I wish other people had as big of a heart as you. So like when I know it's an episode that's gonna like be tough on your heart, like I also
like this one.
I also know that you're modeling. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Gonna spend the rest of my evening huddled up in a ball on my couch, sobbing. No, I'm kidding.
Spend it with your amazing son.
Yeah,
being so fucking happy that he's getting a great childhood, you know.
Totally.
And that you're going to protect him, and knowing that you and your husband are going to protect him from all these kinds of awful, evil forces out there, you know?
Yeah, there's no way.
There's no way.
He's not going to experience anything like this ever.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was thinking maybe we should start to try to say the cocktails that we might do for the next week.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Do you know what that cocktail might be, Hill?
I do indeed. Oh, yeah, we're going to do... next episode is my episode. And without giving away what the topic is, we are going to do a Ward 8. And it is a sweeter take on the whiskey sour.
What's it called?
It's called Ward 8.
Ward 8. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a classic cocktail made with 2 ounces of whiskey, a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, a 1/2 ounce of orange juice, 1/2 ounce of grenadine, and shake it all up with ice, strain it, and serve in a highball glass. And you can garnish it with lemon or cherries.
Ooh, that sounds like a bomb cocktail.
Yeah, that one I'm gonna make a double.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, maybe not a double because there's already 2 ounces of whiskey, but
I'll definitely make a double. But you know, I mean, it won't be to like soften the blow of your episode so much as just to have a good time. So
yeah, it's pretty delicious. I'm already a fan of whiskey sours, so like, and I'm you know, I've got a sweet tooth, so add some sugar to that. I'm all about it. Let's do it.
I couldn't drink whiskey sours for like so many years. It was over 10 years because that was one of the first drinks that I just overdid and got sick on.
Oh no, that's not fun.
Yeah, that was a rough one. But I love my whiskey sours. I love my sour, anything whiskey that has sour stuff in it.
You're gonna enjoy this one. You're gonna enjoy it, and the topic too. I think that we're gonna see some fiery Erica in this next episode.
Really?
Touch on some environmentalism stuff. So.
Oh shit!
Ooh, a sneak peek. Ooh, just a little hint. You get nothing more.
I think we should call it our cocktail teaser.
Little teaser.
Yeah,
I like that.
Because it kind of alludes a little bit to what the subject is too.
A little bit, a tiny bit. Yeah, tiny bit. If you think of awards, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can't wait.
Until next time.
Until next time, there's no wealth but life.